All right, so we're going to go over some basic inequality information. So when we have an inequality symbol like this, it really means greater than. That's the greater than symbol. Another phrase it could be is larger than, or more than, exceeding, above. So any of those words really have this inequality symbol. What I find helpful is that it goes to the right, the arrow. So if we're graphing this, the arrow goes to the right direction. And I know that because here's my inequality symbol, right? If I draw a line coming out of that, there's my arrow. It's pointing to the right. Okay, so again, my inequality symbol's there. If I just draw an arrow, that tells me which way my arrow goes. It's also an open circle because it's not equal to. Because there's no line underneath, it's an open circle, meaning it doesn't quite touch that number. If the inequality symbol faces the other direction, that means less than, fewer than, below. And because it's facing this direction, we draw our arrow or line coming out of there, and now we know it's going to the left. Again, there's no line at the bottom of this inequality sign, so it's an open circle. This inequality symbol, it looks just like the greater than, but now it's got that line underneath, right? That important line, okay? That line means it's greater than or equal to, right? That or equal to part is important. Other ways you could say it is at least, no fewer than, at minimum, or no less than. The arrow faces in the same direction, right? Here's our inequality symbol. Draw a line coming out of there. We know our arrow's still going to the right. But again, what's important is that it has that line underneath of it. So that means it's a closed circle. It's a closed circle because of this line. The last one is the less than or equal to. Less than or equal to. Again, it has that line underneath, So that's our or equal to part, okay? It could also mean does not exceed, no more than, not above, or at most. And again, because our inequality symbol is facing this direction, we draw a line coming out of there. Now we know it's going to the left, okay? And because of that line underneath of this inequality symbol, that means it's closed. So let's practice this first. Let's practice graphing. So graphing is when we use the arrows and the circle, okay? So here's our inequality symbol. That is the same as the top one, right? So this is the greater than. You don't need to write that, but I'm going to write that. And it says greater than 2, right? So we are going to number our number line. It doesn't matter how you number it. I normally start 0 somewhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -1. Okay, and it says greater than 2. The greater than has an open circle. So right at 2, I'm going to put an open circle that's going to the right. So an open circle that's going to the right. Again, there's no line underneath, and it's got that arrow coming out of it, right? If I draw an arrow out of here, it's going open. What's important to know is that whenever we're graphing, our variable needs to come first. So in this case, our t was first. But if you look at number 2, our t or our x is not first. So we need to rewrite this. We need to rewrite it with the x first, and then the -7. So since I'm flipping the order, I need to flip my inequality symbol. So now I'm going to, again, number these. Well, I'm going to want -7 somewhere close to the middle-ish. Remember, when you're counting down, it goes to the right because of negatives. All right, so now our inequality symbol is actually the fewer than symbol. It's the fewer than. So it's the fewer than symbol. Fewer than has an open circle going to the left. So at -7, I'm going to have an open circle going to the left, the arrow. And again, I know that because there's my arrow, there's nothing underneath. Okay? I want you to pause, and I want you to try 3 and 4. So I want you to pause the video and try 3 and 4 for me. All right, so for 3, it should be a closed circle going to the left. And you had to flip the way your inequality was because our variable wasn't first. For 4, it should be a closed circle over -10 going to the right. All right, so let's keep on going. Write the inequality. So what's important here is we want to use these phrases to help us figure out the answers down here. So now we're going to look specifically at the phrases. So this says our age is less than 19 years old. So we want to find less than up here. Less than is right here. So I should be using this inequality symbol. So my inequality symbol should be this. And since it says less than 19, our 19 should be here. And then any variable we want to use, in this case, because it says age, I'm just going to use A. All right, so let's do another example together. I have your speed must be at least 60. At least is, where's at least? At least is here. At least is here. So we should be using this inequality symbol. The number after at least is 60. And it says your speed, so we're going to go S for speed. All right, so I want you to pause, and I want you to try 7 and 8 on your own. Okay, so pause and try 7 and 8. All right, for 7 and 8, they both should be the greater than symbol, right? Because I see exceeds here, and I see above, so they're both the greater than symbol. And I just use W for weight and I for inches. Okay, let's look at 9, and then I'm going to have you do 10 on your own. Okay, so let's look at 9. We have this inequality symbol. So that inequality symbol is the less than or equal to, right? So it's this inequality symbol. So we could use any of these phrases in here. So we could use any of these phrases. Oh gosh, I keep on doing that. Any of these phrases. I'm going to say at most. Okay, so you could use any one of those 5 phrases. I'm going to use at most a number because we don't know what that variable is. A number is at most -23. You're going to make sure your sentence makes sense. We should also probably capitalize our sentence. A number is at most -23. So you're going to want to pause and try number 10. So 10 is the greater than symbol, so I can just say a number is greater than 7. So a number is greater than 7, a number is more than, a number exceeds, a number is above 7, any of those options. Okay, so that was our notes.